You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast. What's up, punters and dribblers? Welcome to All Talk, one of our biggest, if not the biggest.
No, it's the biggest.
It's the biggest fish in the pond that we've managed to wind in. Obviously, you know, because you've seen it on the episode title, it's the great Joey Johns, obviously expert Channel 9 commentator, eighth immortal. New South Wales, Australian Rugby League great, the GOAT of GOATs, right? A Rugby League deity. We've recorded this after he's left, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. He's not sitting here.
No.
A goat's goat,
Yeah.
Tom. A goat's goat. A man that you and I have wanted to wrangle since the podcast started.
Yep.
Even before that, I dreamt of one day
wrangling
a Joey Johns. Today is the day.
Today's the day. It happens.
And not just at any time of the year. This isn't summer, baby.
Yep.
This isn't summer. This is mid-origin contest. We have game 2 out this Wednesday night. Perth.
live and free on Channel 9 and 9 Now.
Exclusive. To our friends at 9 and 9 Now.
So to have him just before game 2 of State of Origin, heard of it, where we're about to sweep them. It honestly couldn't have come at a better time, but also there's never a bad time to have a goat on your show.
No, there's not, but there's also peak time to have a goat, and that is right now.
Yep.
One of the great yarns here with just a terrific Australian and a terrific New South Welshman, above all else.
Don't want to beat our chest too much. He doesn't do podcasts, so...
Well, he doesn't. Well, this is the first live podcast he's ever done.
Yeah, it's the first time he's done
like in the same room sort of stuff.
Well, not a big deal, but
No.
it's the first time he's come and sat in and done a podcast. Like he might have done some other ones by Zoom, not really the same thing there.
Yeah, not really the same thing.
Punters and dribblers, please enjoy this one. Put your hands together for the great, the GOAT, Joey Johns.
Was it at 1? What was it?
Well, you were at 1 with the Steed. You're the first man to break in a Steed.
Would you agree with that?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Well, at that, what
not
about
Steeden anyway?
At that period in your life that you'd broken in a Steed better than anyone else? There was a period there.
Yeah, maybe. It was definitely something different the other night.
So that's why we got him because
Nathan kicks 92%. Are we on?
Yeah, we're going.
Oh, we're on. Nathan kicks 92%, and he couldn't kick a cow on the guts. And the last kick missed by 20 metres. He doesn't do that. Zach Lomax, he shanked it.
Yeah.
We also had New South Wales 13 plus.
Yeah, pouring out for the boys that had New South Wales 13 plus in a big way.
Yeah. But you were like, the Origin balls, they're bigger in the belly.
Well, they measured them, but they just sounded different. And I think someone else, Jamie Soward even said it. You know, he was a good kicker. Anyway, give him something to talk about.
Sowie said that when he played, there was certain, maybe it was a women in league round when the ball was pink, so the whole thing was painted, and he was like, I know I can kick this thing fucking 20 metres further.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
something in it.
Yeah.
What sound are you hearing? You know what I mean?
Well, then I was thinking, I'm up in the commentary box behind glass, just off my head. I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to look after Nathan.
Yeah. We came into bat for you, and then people were like, "What are you talking?" We're like, "Hey, listen, mate."
But you get access to the mics on the side of the field, don't you?
No, you could hear it coming through.
Yeah.
And then I asked Freddy to go down and ask the ball boy. Freddie doesn't get out of his chair. He sits on his fat Mount Druitt ass. Mount Druitt Freddy's back. I've got him.
Yeah.
I've got Mount Druitt Freddy.
I'm glad that Mount Druitt Freddy's back, particularly if he's going to be coaching the Kangaroos.
No, that's why he stopped having a beer when he was coaching New South Wales. And he only had cold showers.
Really? I mean, he was doing all that earthing and stuff.
I think he just, in his own head, that was doing. I hope he does get the Kangaroo job. Him and Cameron together it'd be sick.
It looks like that. Again, your media reports are what they are, but it seems like he's going to get it.
Well, he's done the apprenticeship. He's done the Origin. He did the Prime Minister's 13. He's gone to PNG a couple of times.
Yeah.
But I reckon him and Cameron would be really good together. Because there's always that politics of, these pick New South Wales.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. But if him and Cameron are in there.
Would he do it? Do you reckon, is that... Freddie doesn't seem like he's got an ego on him. He wouldn't give a shit about
Cameron's cool, Zan.
Yeah.
They'd be perfect together. Perfect.
Do you reckon they'd go that way? Or do you think they'd definitely just want one person?
I don't know. I think if you had those two, they'd probably go with Freddy, whether he has Cameron as an assistant.
And so, I mean, are we? Is it a good thing for the nation that Freddie's back on the
sure.
beers for coaching?
Well, if he gets the job, he'll be off the beers.
You reckon he'll be back?
Yeah.
Do you? Well, maybe you don't want him to get it then. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Freddie, though, because I've seen you've been talking about, the international game and the future of it and the two-tier nations and all that stuff. Do you reckon if Freddie came in, he would be able to help clear up the defections?
I think it's just easy. I think it's just easy. The origin eligibility stays the same.
Yep.
If you're in Australia before you're 12 or 13, I think it's high school maybe, then you can play origin. But if your parents are Tongan or your parents are Fijian or Samoan, then you can play for the mother country.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah. If we don't
When you put it like that, it does seem very simple. And now I'm trying to think about what's difficult about it. Like, what has been the problem?
I don't think we need to overthink it, because otherwise...
So, okay, perfect example. The bloke I love watching playing, Isaiah Katoa.
Yes.
Tongan, I think Tongan mum and dad. He's Tongan. Born and bred in the Riff, Penrith. He'll play for New South Wales, but also he should play for Tonga.
Mm-hmm.
And the international game then will be strong. Instead of the end of the year, Australia plays Tonga at Suncorp, and they get 20,000. If Tonga's beating Australia, they get 50,000.
Yeah.
50,000. And the difference now is the Pacific nations have halves. Samoa's got Jerome and Blaze Talungi, and Tonga's got Isaiah Katoa. You only need him.
Yeah, well, mate, like...
You could put Matthew Johns next to him and they'd still go good.
You've been talking up Isaiah a lot recently.
Oh,
Do you think he's the next big thing, eh?
Well, if you went and had a look at all of them, Sterling, Ricky Stewart, Alf, myself, JT, even Nathan, at 21, we're not doing anywhere near what he's doing.
Really?
Anywhere near it.
And so what is that? Like, what is it that he's doing? Because again,
Everything.
we're not, we're seeing it, but we don't see it.
Well, he gets the ball, he runs straight. There's only a few halfbacks that are doing that. Nathan's one of them. Jerome Hughes is one. But Katoa's playing straight. And the biggest rap I can give him is the way he plays his plays. Nathan has actually tweaked his game, and Nathan's playing like that now.
Is that right? When you say that there's only a handful of halves playing straight, it sounds like halves need to play straight to be truly effective. Why don't they? Like, what sucks them out to go
I don't
lateral?
know whether it's habit or... it's a scary place out there. You're running up and paying Haas and...
Yeah.
But so that's more what it is, though, right?
You're
going out there with the
you're
intention.
passing and your ribs are exposed, and so actually you don't realise scary out there. You're running to Gordon Tallis and he's going, I'm going to rip your throat out. Sucking your thumb, calling for mummy. But he's a gun. He's a gun, Katoa.
It feels like he's been slept on's not the right word, but he doesn't seem to get the attention, the media attention that some of these other young
he's up
halves are.
there.
Is that why?
Yeah,
And he's young? Or is it... That's
Well, you
not-
look at Galvin.
Yeah, true.
Well, Gavin's younger, and
That's
he's
a
had...
great
Galvin's
point.
19, but mate, where he's at compared to Galvin and the young other halves, the Galvin will maybe get there, but he's...
What do you make of situations like that with Galvin when you're, I guess, comparing it to when you were coming through, when you were playing? Like, is that whole media circus, is that Galvin one maybe
Sign
the
a
most...
contract, you sign a contract. I remember myself and Matthew signed with the ARL in 95. Mental. Like, I was on 30,000 and the amount of money we signed is just astronomical. I bought my first house for about 130,000 in Newey back then. Mate, I could have bought the whole street, but I was getting paid. So anyway, this is how crazy it was. So me and Matthew signed with the ARL. The next day, we're having lunch at Sizzler, as we always used to at Broadmeadow.
You celebrate a big contract with
Well, where do you go
You go
after
to
making the
Sizzler.
most money you've ever
An all-you
dreamt of?
can eat
You get those
You could-
potato wedges with that special sauce. Yeah. So anyway, no mobile phones in those days, thank God. The manager comes out. He goes, hey, boys, someone's on the phone for you out the back, some bloke from New York. So we get out there, some lawyer for News Limited, some American bloke. Yeah, I understand you guys signed a contract, but we can get you out 24 hours. Righto. And he said, we're going to offer you this. Mate, it was one of those moments our eyes fell out. Not the first time our eyes have fallen out. So we ring the old man. and we go, Gaz, we've been offered this.
Was
from
it
Super League.
was it double? Like
No, it was probably another half on top of that.
yeah.
Like serious money. This is not 95. And he
$100,000
goes,
house.
his exact words were, I couldn't give an F. He said, you've signed a contract. You've signed a contract. That's your integrity. You sign a contract. You see out your contract. Simple as that. I don't like players breaking their contracts.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong.
And yeah, even like I was reading one the other day where it's like, oh, Mal's signed with the Bears, and on Mal's hit list it's like Tino. And I'm like, Tino signed a 10-year contract with the Titans. How is he on anyone's hit list?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how's that even a thing?
Yeah. And they manipulate it and get him out of contracts. So, we all know where it's come from, player managers, and you've got to be reined in. I feel sorry for Lockie Galvin because I think that stain will always be on.
Yes.
What happened at the Tigers. And I feel sorry for the Tigers. I think they've lost over the years. Teddy, Moses, just goes on and on.
Teddy, Moses, Woods, Addo-Carr, Pappenhausen.
Woods, yeah. Woodsy. Billy Slater's mate at the moment.
Yeah.
Tee off on poor old Bill.
Do you reckon that's good though? Him teeing off, like just to switch, like in terms of the way Origin build up.
It's hard to bag Billy. Billy's Billy.
Billy is
But he is
Billy.
and I work for Bill. Bill's the most lovely bloke.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, but like during Origin,
Who's the villains? I say Spencer Leniu.
yeah,
he's the villain.
he's good, but
But
like
he's on a media ban, so he can't say anything,
no.
which is probably good.
Well, it looks like
Who's
it.
put the media ban on him?
I think himself.
Yeah, right. But I suppose where Tom's coming from, and I echo his sentiments, is that sometimes, increasingly, I think, in Origin build-ups, no one says anything, and it's just a bit flat. Like I think the lead up to this for this first game is as flat as I've ever seen it. I
totally agree.
And so then you need someone like Woodsy, or you don't need someone, but it's kind of nice. And obviously, as you say, Billy's a nice guy, so it's hard. But like, it's kind of good to have someone come out and just spin a bit.
We know Volandis just gets it done. So Volandis comes out and just says, look, we know Origin is officiated different. The referee puts the whistle away. Well, he didn't in game one. Ice hockey, one-on-one, they want to have a stink, being one-on-one. Look, no one gets hurt in a fight on the field. There was the only person was myself who got his head punched in. I'll tell you that story later. And one-on-one, blah, blah, blah. Third man in, if you come in, you're off.
Yeah.
So then what's happened with the no punch? And I know we live in a different world, but we shouldn't apologise for the game we are. We're rugby league. We're a working-class game. Someone mouths off, that's Les Davidson. You imagine what they do now, the wingers run in and carry on and mouth off. Les Davidson will block it, just go, nice. See ya.
Yeah.
But if they let him go, and then the anticipation, righto, Tino and Payne's going to go at it. I know it's politically incorrect.
They might be the last one we saw punch on, Tino and Payne. Remember a couple of years ago?
Remember the image where Payne's shirt is ripped off?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, righto, they're allowed to go. You imagine the anticipation. The bloke that used to run the game, I was having a beer with him. He said the exact same thing. The anticipation of maybe spilling over has gone out of it.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
right. And when it did,
you used to feel it like, oh,
Yeah.
fucking, when are the boys going to kick off here?
You talk at school.
Yeah.
All school. Who's Blocker going to knock out? Who's Les Davis going to chin? But that never made us want to fight when we're playing on the weekends. Anyway, it's the world.
No, look, it is the world we live in.
And now, because they've got rid of the fighting on the field, and it feels like out of respect, maybe I'm incorrect, but it feels like it's out of respect. No one wants to say anything or give the other side ammunition in the war of words. In your day, like in the 90s, was there a war of words, or was it always just fucking punching on the field?
Sometimes we met up on the bonding night between New South Wales and Queensland.
Really? That's like at Christmas time in the war when they're kicking a soccer ball.
Just full of it. Just things getting said.
Like what? Can you elaborate or not?
Oh, not really. I give Gordon a mouthful one night. And then the next day, you wake up and just went, oh, no, what have I done? What have I done? Oh, they were the days.
Seriously. So you go and meet up. That seems
Now,
bizarre.
what happened? We were at the Bourbon. This is when
This in the Cross Bourbon?
Yeah, the great old
yeah.
days. This is when Tommy was coaching, so we're in there. And then the Queensland bus pulls up. Tommy says, First bloke to talk to any of these, if any of you blokes talk to these blokes, you'll be on the bench. Yep. So I'm standing at the bar. Next thing I get a tap on the shoulder and I look, Gordon Tallis. Hey, mate, how are you? Oh, yeah. I'm looking at Paul Harrigan. Chief, help me. Yeah. Mate, I said hello to you. Then he kept going. Why don't you just F off and leave me alone? And then the eyes started to roll and it was like the wonder years. At that moment, I knew I should have just shut my mouth.
And so then did
you imagine winding him up?
Yeah.
Gordy's still...
He's still
like terrifying. You can see it even when he's doing his NRL 360s.
And
or
he
stares
at one of the journos.
And he goes, no. And you're like, oh.
And he sometimes doesn't say, he just looks at him. You can see the journos twitching.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Oh, no, I know what you mean.
Was he the scariest man from your era? Yeah. And when he said...
It was like a wild animal. And he'd scream and sometimes you'd tackle him and he'd nearly bite you. He was just so bony. Every time you went in, you got an elbow or a hip or a knee. And in the gym, he wasn't that strong. But then if you have a wrestle, like when we're away having a few beers and the wrestler would come on, no one could beat him. He was just an animal.
Just strong as.
And when you said before he was like, I'm going to rip your throat out, mate, would he be yelling that sort of stuff?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. And then your job as a halfback was to get the defenders to come to you. So I'd say, righto, come on, dum-dum, come here. And then once again, what am I saying?
You're like a matador.
Trying to get them out of the line. You get them out of the line and, there's gaps. But that's... Well, nowadays, they don't really get smashed too much. The halfbacks are pretty protected. Especially after they kick. Eh?
Do you like that?
I like when they pass and they're allowed to hit them in the back.
Yeah.
But when they're kicking, like the one on the other...
There was Jerome. Was it Jerome on the weekend? Someone hit Jerome?
No, or Jerome hit...
Jerome hit Blaze to lung.
Yeah.
That's what
and
it
was. Simultaneous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Play on.
Yeah.
Mate, if you make the effort to get there and they haven't kicked the ball, you can smash him as long as it's not at the knees.
Yeah. Well, Gal was blowing up on 100% footy. He was like, mate, if you give these blokes more time, like, they're just going to destroy you. Like, you're out of options if you give a good half heaps of time,
They're playing till 36, 37.
It's too long.
Whacked. Too long.
You reckon that's part of it?
Yeah, 100%. Sports science, but they're not getting whacked.
Yeah. You staged a silent protest recently, which was... Yeah, it was one of...
We loved it.
We loved it. And, I don't know if it went far enough. We were talking about maybe setting ourselves on fire down in front of NRL HQ if something didn't happen. I know what prompted it. Did you go in there planning the silent protest? Did it just come in the moment? You're like, I can't even speak.
Was it Tigers Cronulla? It was at Leichhardt, and it was ding-dong game. And 10, 15 minutes to go, the game's on the line. And we're just waiting for someone to stand up, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they go back 3 plays, and someone... honestly, just touches him with his shoulder. He falls in, they sin bin. I was just like, I'm done. Because if I keep talking, I'm going to swear. I'm going to say this is bullshit. So I thought, I'll put the mic down. And that's it. And then I had Freddy there going, go have a cold shower.
Yeah. It's like, because there was probably like 20 minutes to go,
15 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go. I was like,
did any part of you be like, geez, all right, I'm like, or you just... I was going to come back on, or you're just like, nah, this is done.
I was done. And then part of me was like, I want to get out of here early so I can have a beer Sunday night. Getting out of Leichhardt at full time.
Oh, nightmare.
So I was like, okay, do I just leave at 10 minutes to go? And they ring me and I'm just sucking on a long neck somewhere. No, it's quite protest.
Yeah, no, it's just a silent protest.
Yeah, no, mate. I've got to make
the
my point.
traffic.
I've got to make my point. Do you get asked for your opinion from the head honchos at the NRL around this sort of stuff? Or do you feel like offering it?
Because it felt like it changed. It changed the...
I reckon it did.
That silent protest made a difference.
Yeah, well, I spoke to a couple of them. I won't say who, but the big dogs.
Oh, yeah. C-suite.
Coming into Magic Round.
Yes.
I said, mate, you can't do this. It was pretty much similar to the rant on the Sunday footy show. It's just like, people have saved up their whole year to come up here and watch it. We can't make a mockery of the game. Anyway.
Well, I mean...
But once again, Volandis gets it done.
Yes.
He's
done. Awesome.
He's been so good for the game.
He's been beyond effective.
Oh,
in
mate,
his ability to just.
but even you
get
look at like the
things done.
AFL season, like the cadence of the season with rugby league, it's like Vegas, Magic Round, Origin, Finals, Grand Final. Like there's something.
Ashes tour at the end of the year.
Ashes tour at the end of the year, but
Which I like.
There's something coming up every couple of rounds, you know, and then AFL is just like they gather round or reach around, whatever it was called. Like that's the only thing they
How
have.
do you play in that? Reach around.
The reach around, yeah. Well,
you like
it's
the sound
very AFL.
Well, how do you feel having like? Do you reflect on it at all? The fact that you have like the pull you have in the game.
Nah, not at all.
But then when it happens, do you think about it, or are you just more like I'm
no,
just
I'm
shooting
just
from
saying
the
what
hip?
I think.
Yeah.
I'm at a stage in my life, like I'm 51 now. I was just like, you know what? Who cares? I'm not on Twitter or anything like that. So I know some people hammer me, but don't worry, I'd hammer me too. Couldn't give a rat's ass.
When did that come? When do you reckon you stopped caring?
Oh, probably about 18 months when I was born. No, I just think as you get older, it just, that stuff, it doesn't exist, all that social media. It only exists if you give it energy.
Yeah.
And if you don't look at it,
Yes.
don't read the comments, it doesn't exist.
It goes away after 24 hours anyway.
You are on the gram though. We see you popping up every once in a while on Instagram.
The what?
Sorry, mate.
The Instagram.
Instagram.
Oh, yes.
Instagram, mate. Instagram.
Yeah. Occasionally. Actually, the Instagram, my son showed me the direct messages. I didn't know what they existed. Wow. Danica shows me some of her direct messages. Wow.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Wow.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Did you go through any of your DMs?
Yeah. It's just people hammering me. I'm like, I'm not looking at that again.
No one asking
Yeah.
for your socks or your underwear in there?
No. It doesn't happen. I don't wear underwear. So
Oh, that's
wouldn't
good
be
to
there.
know.
Oh,
That's
thank
good to
God.
know.
Righto, Sebo, you've heard of 4 Pints, haven't you, mate?
Oh, absolutely. I've heard of 4 pints.
One of the great beers of all time. We've obviously had the Japanese lager. We've had the dark lager, which is fucking terrific. But I want to turn your attention today to their e-com site because they've got some special offers. They're launching their merch range for the first time, okay? And they've partnered with a like-minded supplier, Sebo,
Yep.
that does their own good stuff, right? So 4 Pints like to do good stuff,
Yeah.
good stuff for the planet, and this supplier likes to do good stuff as well through ethical practices and recycled materials, which is important. Obviously,
Yes.
we're all on Team Planet Earth.
Absolutely. We're Team Planet Earth.
They've got some nice stuff: jumpers, hoodies, t-shirts, like some good merch, some great 4 Pints merch.
Yeah.
If you want to dress in some 4 Pints merch, my friend, head to 4pintsbeer.com.au. Check it out, okay?
Yeah,
You do that for
absolutely.
me?
Get a hoodie. I love a fresh hoodie or like just for winter when it is fresh. When you're wearing the one from a couple of years ago, it just doesn't have the same warmth, cleanly kind of huggy vibe. So if you need a hoodie, I think Tobler's wearing one today, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks great.
Shout out 4 Pints. Circling back to Vlandis for a second, he's made quite a few changes to the way the game is from like a game perspective. Do you think it's in a good place, the way that it's...
Flying.
Yeah?
Absolutely flying. Television numbers are up. The Bulldogs been getting 60, 70,000.
That's been wild,
Attendances are up. The women's game is so good to watch. You see other sports, and it's a tough watch. The NRLW is great to watch.
Yeah,
and it's pure footy. And the ratings for the Origin were huge. But we need to sell out stadiums. Once we get them fully professional, the girls' game will just go like that.
Yeah.
It'll be huge.
Yeah. Well, the Origin, we watched we did a live stream for the game 2 of Origin, wasn't it?
Is that
Yes.
the one at Allianz?
Yes. Pouring rain.
Yeah.
They're great now, the girls. Really,
They're
really
athletes.
good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That move, Jamie Chapman.
Yeah.
Move.
Oh, the move she put on the winger there or the
On
fullback?
Tamika Upton. It was
Upton,
that
like-
good she tore a glute.
Yeah,
Perfect.
She moved so good.
that was slick.
But in terms of like the 6 agains and the way it's officiated, do you think it's in a good spot now compared
Yeah,
to where you play?
I like the 6 to go,
Yeah.
but there's no accountability for them.
So as in you can just keep you can keep.
They can just keep, but it's speeding the game up. I'd like to have 2 less interchanges, so go to 6 interchange. And someone I talk to all the time, Warren Ryan, great coach, great influence on the way the game's been played. He was like, the dimensions of the field haven't changed since 1908, but we're getting bigger and stronger. So he thinks the ideal number for rugby league's 11 players.
Really?
Yeah, because the gaps will be bigger, more room for the little guys, more tries, more
Jeez.
space.
You reckon that's too big of a change?
Well, you can get rid of the lock, start with 12, see how you go. It'll never happen.
No, that doesn't feel. That feels too.
Well,
drastic.
sevens is Mickey Mouse. Nines was good to watch, but I reckon 11 side it'd be dynamite.
Cherry ripe.
Cherry ripe.
But so 6 interchanges just to speed the game up.
Speed the game up.
Big fellas blowing.
More fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking bit of state of origin again, obviously. So this will come out Sunday. This yarn here. It's actually quite cool to get you during the origin, just before game 2. What do you make of Cherry? Like the way that, because you called Cherry after that game, being like they should get rid of him. What do you make of the decision from Queensland there with that?
Gutsy. It's a brave call to drop their captain in the key positions, but I just think it's Dearden's time. And the stats, they've scored 1 try in 2 games. And that's also a reflection of how good our team is. Our team is so good.
Yeah, it's red hot.
It is so good. What's Ches? Ches is 36 now. I just think it's Dearden's time.
Can you, Tobler, see if you can find that stat from Random Stats Guy about
It's 8. So 8.
Queensland, the tries they've scored?
I've got it. So of the
Went
last
13 players on the field.
of the last 10 tries scored, 8 of them have been scored by Queensland. 8 have been scored when we've had 12 man. So man in the sin bin. So 8 of the 10.
And then what about like just the makeup of the team? So like Carrigan on the bench, Nanai on the bench, Liero at lock. Like
We got the best players. That's it.
they just don't. But like
What happened to us when they had Cronk, Thurston, Lockyer, Smith, Slater, Inglis, Folau, and just keep going.
Yeah.
We chopped and changed our team.
Jagai, Hodges.
In all due respect, Hodges. You know, they had 3 or 4 future immortals in their team, and we didn't. So we were chopping and changing, trying to keep up with them. Now it's different.
Hard times make weak
Our
men.
team is so well balanced. It is so good. Our New South Wales team. So now the pressure is on them, and they're looking for answers.
What's the saying, Eddie? What is it?
Well, I think it's hard to
make strong men make
good times make weak
soft
men. Yes.
That's what's happened to Queensland.
Yeah.
They just had too many hard men.
Well,
To make good times,
they've had
they're all
too
soft.
many. They've had. It's exactly right.
Whereas
Their
we had
years
it
have been
too
good.
bad, and now we suck.
But we've always, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's always seemed to me like New South Wales has always had really good players, but we just couldn't really put them together properly.
Yeah.
What do you think's changed in from the last 10 years? Because this side to me feels different.
Well, Freddy debuted a lot of these young players. I remember he debuted Nathan. It was probably a year or 2 maybe before, but he put him in there. Other players, he debuted Big Stefano. A lot of these players now, and they've been together for 3-4 years. They even played sort of junior reps together. And time on the field, time on the paddock, it's just so important. And I think the average age of our Blues team is about 26, 27.
Yeah.
You're in that sweet spot. It is so well balanced. We have such a good team. It's just glorious. It's just glorious. I just love it.
Right.
But you can see an ambush coming in Perth. But we played in Perth twice.
Pumped them.
Both games, we've won by 32 points.
Yeah.
Are you being serious when you say you can see an ambush coming?
There'll be an ambush, without doubt. But I don't know if they got the bullets to fire at us.
With Dearden, and it being Dearden's time, again, from 2 guys that don't know what we're talking about, but like, I guess the criticism I've heard about Dearden is that he's more like Munster than Cherry Evans, like they're sort of similar players.
I think Munster will do a lot of the kicking. Dearden's a runner. Dearden likes running. I wouldn't put him in the class of Alan Langer. So when they picked this little person, Alfie, it was sort of uproar, but this might be the same with Dearden. Dearden's a run threat. Munster's Munster. You got KP, he's been quiet at the back. Even Harry was quiet in game 1.
He's lost all 6 games he started for Queensland.
Harry,
Yeah. Apparently, I heard that somewhere. That could be.
That's a weapon
people
stat.
love these.
Oh,
stats.
mate, you live for it.
Just
Especially
love
people like
these
us. We got
stats.
nothing actually intelligent to add to the conversation.
Although there's a stat on Dearden.
Oh,
So he started at club level, 35 games at halfback and lost 26 or 27 or something.
Oh, that's a good stat.
But
that's a great
That's
one.
when he was at the Broncos. Remember they were shit. They got the
Yeah.
wooden spoon. He was there then. There's a lot of pressure on him. Good luck to him.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck.
No,
to
all
the
the
kid.
best to him.
Hey,
All
all
the
the
best
best
to
to
him.
the kid.
But do you think their forwards got fucking bashed.
Bashed.
In game 1? Same treatment, surely.
Mate, you could have had Wally Lewis and all of them, all the greats. If your forwards aren't doing your job, and we had Payne Isaiah Yeo was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then our bench is that strong. And they came on and Spencer's eyes were spinning. But our forwards just dominated them.
So, but what with Queensland? They're like, again, they've seen Carrigan on the bench, the Aero starting. Like, what do you make of that?
Pressure?
It's a bit that's a pressure decision. You know what I mean?
Pressure.
Trying to do something. Trying to find something.
Yeah. Trying to change it. Try to come up with something to stop our forwards. Angus, far out. Like tackling a horse.
It seemed.
And then Liam Martin.
Yeah. Another
like
tap
something
individual.
seriously missing there.
And then Spencer off the pine, like you just googly eyes, unbelievable. Do you
Connor?
think that would have happened back in your day, Queensland not kicking off to someone?
No.
That's like rattled them.
Yeah. I was surprised. We all looked at each other in the box. I even looked at Cameron. Cameron went. Don't get much emotion out of Cameron. He's pretty. I looked at him and went, oh. Ice cold, that boy.
Yeah. Well, he does it. Even on 100% footy, I think they were asking him. And he was like, I think Gal was like, mate, back in your day, surely that's something like you'd almost take pride in. Like, we're going to go after this guy and we're going to try and
did
back
he say yes?
Well, he just sort of was like, yeah, we probably would have. We probably would have.
Like, you imagine if they kicked off to him, it was like a Chief and Spud.
Yeah.
But then
Problem was
if
he knocked
someone
two guys
came out
out
of the line and absolutely smashed Spencer, the momentum brings the crowd into play.
Because it seems to me that Queensland spirit, whatever the hell that is like that is anti-Queensland spirit. Almost.
Yeah, no, it is.
Well, I'll kick to him game 2 when he comes on. Talk about anticipation. But he was warming up. I was watching him when he was warming up on the sideline. He was screaming at all the Queenslanders, giving them the bird. I was like, this bloke's just not all there. Yeah. It's what you need in the front rower.
Yeah.
Screaming at the crowd before you even got in the game.
Should have seen him. And then Connor Watson was beside him. I could see Connor pissing himself. Oh, it was so good.
You gave me a look when I said Queensland spirit. What do you make of Queensland spirit?
I don't know.
You don't like it? Yeah,
Don't like it.
Don't like it? You
Don't
get
like
angry
it.
after games as well. Like that's what I like.
I'm a bad loser. I throw the toys out. What was the one a couple of years ago? I'm going to listen to your shit now for the next 12 months. Same thing. Cameron is just...
Yeah. Well, you went silent on the broadcast pretty much. I think.
Oh, yeah.
But it was when they were all sitting on the panel after
They
the game.
put the panel like 5 metres from the crowd, and they're just hammering us. They hammer me, but what they say to Gal is just off tap. And so, yeah, I was filthy, and then they get sledged, and I was just carrying on like a cock, as usual.
But you just love your state so much.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. You know, they talk about when it all started and Wally, they watched New South Wales dominate. Well, I grew up watching Wally burn Wally and beating us. And my grandfather, he lived on the Goldie. He was a property developer from the Gold Coast. White shoes. He used to ring us after the game. Poppy Ken. There he is. That's why he's the king. Off. Stop ringing us. Yeah. How's the inheritance?
Did you call him after you got a couple back over him?
No, he was gone by then.
Unlucky. We talk often about like the fact that the man of the series is called the Wally Lewis medal. Thoughts on that? We thought Lewis Johns, and then we're like, wait, isn't that your kid's name?
Yeah, it is. Lewis Johns.
Do you think it should be, and whether you want to have your name?
No, Wally's Wally.
Wally's Wally, but like I didn't see Wally, so
I don't
I'm
know if
still
Origin would be what it is today without the king.
No.
Because he's such a villain. Such a villain. And everyone hated him down here. And then up there, like still, when we walk from the commentary box, if I've got to go down on the field to do a news cross, King goes, come on, I'll take you. So I walk behind Wally. And people still get there and bow as Wally, and then it's like, Wally's like, leave him alone. Thanks, King. But still, they get on the ground and they bow to the King. And what he did for Origin.
That's got to be how it is.
That's all we spoke about at school. I know you boys might have been a bit young then. But all we spoke about was who was going to get to Wally, who's going to get Wally. And then the next day at school, we're like, he's too good. Once again, he's too good.
bow. Do you get
You
people,
get
bowing
bowing
you down
to you,
here?
surely.
No.
No bowing?
At the Robin Hood on Friday night when I walk out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Robin Hood pub up the
Oh,
Charlie.
yeah.
Of
no,
course
the
I
Robin
do.
Hood. Love
Yeah.
the Robin Hood. That's
You
where
must have
get
got
them.
you must have got people bowing to you after game 205.
No.
Surely.
No.
That's like that got us through. I talked to a lot of proud New South Welshmen about this. When we were in the dark years, the 8 in a row, I reckon your performance in game 2 got a lot of us through that because it was just we just had to just keep referencing it. Like but like we fucking one of us did this though. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
did live streams where we just watched that game again.
That's all we could do.
You know what hurts? So, 2006, the Knights go, look, we want you to stand down from rep footy. So I think I played a test match, Anzac Day test match, and then it was it. Didn't play Origin. And when Lockie scored that try, you know, when one in Melbourne,
Yeah, Hodges through it.
I'm like, I should be out there. And then I look up in the Queensland coaching box. Guess who's coaching Queensland?
Hagen.
Michael Hagan.
Yeah.
The Knights coach. He's got me on the 2-card trip. And then it all started. And then that Dominus said, you know what, that hurt so much. Because in my own head, I was thinking, because I retired in 07, I hurt my neck again. But in my head, I was thinking I could still play. And I'm watching it and I'm just, oh.
How old were you when you retired?
32.
So you'd still, I mean, in 2006, like you'd think I guess it's different now, right?
It's different
But,
now. Sports science.
What did you make of, I don't know if you even heard this, but it caused quite a stir in our universe. There was a radio host in Queensland who said that you never dominated Origin.
Someone mentioned, actually, Cooper Johns told me.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys, for sticking up.
Oh, mate, we got him.
Oh
don't
mate,
worry.
we got into him. Don't worry.
got
about
it.
that.
Did you?
Oh shit, yeah.
Did he fire back?
Mate, you
Oh,
might be able
mate.
to see behind you, there's a photo of us. He's sitting on our knee. There's a photo of him there sitting on our knee because we got him. He said Joey never dominated Origin.
And then so we just started ripping in saying, mate, well, Wally was winning, like, you know, kids competitions in Queensland for 20 years. He didn't like, oh, mate, you should have been down to bloody Hepton Park in 89. He was killing. We're like, shut up, mate.
No, we got him. And then our audience started changing his Wikipedia.
Oh, really?
They started changing his Wikipedia. He had to keep. He was on there trying to change
Stay
it
in
back.
your lane, mate. Stay in your lane.
Yeah. No, we got him good. So you did hear about it.
Yeah.
What do you make? What do you?
No,
Any response
once
there?
Again, I couldn't care less.
No?
Couldn't care less.
Do you think you dominated Origin?
Yeah.
What was your record in Origin? Do you know it off the top of your head?
Someone told me that my record at Suncorp, or Lang Park and Suncorp, I played 12 games and won 10.
Oh,
Drew one
what?
and lost one.
Can we just look that up, please?
What?
So sit on that with no lube. Sit on that.
Oh, that is a powerful
You might want to
statistic.
listen.
Oh, yeah.
Someone told me the other day out in the surf.
Really out in the surf?
Yeah.
Wait, Joey, you know you only lost two. You got your 10
Well,
from
do you,
12.
how many do you remember losing up there? Just the one?
I don't really.
Don't
don't
really
really
Too
know.
hard to remember, yeah.
Yeah. Don't really know.
That's
But
insane.
we had a really good. I know the opening 2003, we smoked them. We put like 30 on them. And then during that period, I missed 2001, but 02, 03, 2000, 2002, 3, 5. I think I won all the games up there. I don't know about the 90s. They all sort of blend in.
We swept them in 2000, didn't we? I think that was
2000. I think I came off the bench, so I had a groin operation, so I came back game 2, and we smoked them up there. And we put 30 on them that night, and then Sydney, that's when we put 50 on them. Just
that
clean
the-
sweep.
that
That was
Fletch?
Grenade Fletch.
Grenade.
Oh, that was good. Yeah. We were sort of, Tom and I were talking about this. Is it almost time to get the grenade back out? We're going that way.
That'd be nice.
It'd be nice.
That'd be
wouldn't
nice. That'd be nice in Perth.
Yeah.
Just throwing grenades.
Why don't you have a word to the boys? Maybe
Well,
just
who's going to do it?
Well, just text Nathan and
Spencer.
just put it in his head.
Spencer
Oh, that's not,
Spencer.
it's not Nathan's go. He's too
No.
nice.
No.
Spencer to do it.
Spencer would probably do it.
Payne to do it because no one to do anything to Payne.
Yeah.
Do you do any coaching with the team anymore? Like, do you go in?
No, I helped Freddy out, which was enjoyable, but it was hard
Why?
because then I was commentating and I'm so invested anyway because I love my jersey and I love my state. But then also I was invested so much because I was helping Freddy. I love Freddy. And I knew the pressure he was under. So then calling the game, it was really hard, really hard.
What were you helping Freddy with? Were you helping with the halves or game plan?
Bits and pieces with the attack and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was, those games, Townsville, when they put 50 on them. Those 2 games in Perth and Latrell and Turbo
Tommy.
and Nathan. Once again, our team at the moment it is so well balanced.
A chance of a sweep. I know that you're pro New South Wales.
I think so.
I think it's a sweep territory.
If there's ever a time we can sweep them, which is the ultimate. And it's so hard to do. So I think even with Queensland's dominance, that 8 years, once
in 2010,
so hard.
I think.
Because you get back into game, you get into camp for game 3, and it's just like, we've climbed Everest.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate climbing Everest. And then all of a sudden, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it's sort of Monday the next week, and you went, I've got to play. I've got to play in 2 days.
Were you part of the side that lost 3-0 in 95?
Yep.
Was that just...
Well,
so
Super
unbelievable?
League, so none of the champions, the Canberra blokes, Ricky and Laurie and Lazarus, all the guns, Mullins, all them, they weren't playing. So we got our start pretty much before we should have, except for, say, Freddy and a couple others. What was that, 95? I was only 20. It just wasn't ready. Yeah. And you think you're ready. It's when the young players come in and they debut. You think you're ready, and then you get out there, and it's after 15 minutes, you're like, what the is this game? What am I doing out here?
Yeah.
And you can't pick your legs up. You're that tight. You literally, you can't get any air in. And they were the days when Bill Harrigan reffed and he blows 3 penalties. So the game would just
Go.
back and forth, back and forth. You do a really good set and you kick downfield, and then they go to Cleary, Sailor. Next thing you're in your own half. But those games, they're just so hard.
And just just super quick?
Just lightning.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting off the defensive line and smashing blokes.
Yeah.
Every tackle, someone's trying to smash blokes. We're in club footy, the intensity can go for, say, the really good club games, 10 or 15 minutes. Game 3 last year, it went for 65 minutes.
Mate.
They just bashed each other.
That was probably the most insane 60 minutes of Origin I've watched in terms of like the intensity of it.
They just bashed each
Edge of
other.
your
It didn't
seat.
stop.
Just kept going.
I went on a boat surf trip in Indo, and there was all American blokes going. And they said, bring a footy game over. So I took the game where Mick DeVere got the stitches in his face. These American blokes were just going, oh my God, what is happening? So I told the story. The doctor, when he did it, he had the shakes. It wasn't because of nerves. He'd been on the piss the night before. And I think Gus was coaching, and Mick DeVere split. And they're going blood bin. Gus said, no, don't get him off. Just go and staple it. Poor old Mick DeVere, and the staple breaks. Blood's
Hanging off his
pissing out.
head.
These American blokes were going, you Aussies, what? You don't wear pads? But they couldn't believe it. They just could not believe the intensity of it and the hits.
I haven't seen someone stapled since. Is that like was stapling even a thing?
I think what is it? What's the place? Say docks.
Yeah, well, that's the child services.
Yeah.
Human rights.
No. What is it? What's the animal? RSPCA. I think the RSPCA blew up. Like, you can't treat these animals who are rugby league players like that. And he was the most quietest, loveliest bloke, Mick DeVere.
He was great.
He never said boo. He was such a nice fella.
Great player.
You mentioned Phil Gould. I've heard some stories on podcasts and stuff of like him as Origin coach. Was he
Best.
the best? Yeah.
And me and him couldn't do a season together. We'd kill each other. But 6 weeks was just enough. And he had this ability to bring a group together, and he'd have a theme of a camp. And the one that really sticks out, get goosebumps thinking about it, he was talking about the draft and the war, whichever, whether it was Vietnam or World War II, and talking about when there was a knock on your door that you had to go to war, and you had to represent your family and you had to represent your town, and it was your duty. He was talking about, people come together in conflict and all this, and talking about the knock on the door, and you have to represent. Anyway, it'd go on and on, and We get people in to come talk to us about it, about, the fear and the bravery people. Anyway, he kept talking about the knock on the door. When the knock on the door comes, are you going to fight? Are you going to fight for your people? Our people in New South Wales. Chills thinking about it. So on those days, there was no buzzer. There was no 2-minute buzzer to say, you got to get on the field. So we're warming up in the sheds, and with 2 minutes to go, the referee knocks on the door. It's like, you got 2 minutes, get out there. And he's like, there's the knock on the door, boys.
Oh, wow.
And we went, this bloke's a genius. And, mate, we just went, wow. And we won. But that's just an example.
Yeah.
Just an example of it. He's a genius, Gus. I'd go to say that no one has had more influence on rugby league in the history of the game than Gus. He was a good player. He went to South. Tugger Coleman tells me this. He went to South when he was about 28, and he pretty much coached the team. And George Piggins, to his credit, George went, I'll keep them all in line, but Gus, you do it. Coach Canterbury.
Was he coaching at 28 or was he playing and coaching?
No, he was playing and coaching. Not official.
Yeah.
But,
right.
But he was, yeah.
Then his first year out, he coached Bulldogs. They won the comp. Then
First year out.
Yeah. First year as a coach.
Yeah.
Then he goes to Penrith, and they win a comp out there in the early 90s. Then he goes into coaching. He's their most successful coach at Origin level. But then from there, he goes into administration. He turns Penrith around. They win 4 in a row. They get beat. So they've 5 grand finals in a row. Whether it was his influence, but I think there was fingerprints of Gus all over. Now he goes to the Bulldogs, who were basket case, and he's turned them around. Now they're getting 60,000, 70,000 to the games. Not to mention, on the TV, with his commentary, he's so polarising. But once again, he says things that need to be said, and he starts conversation. Without doubt, the most influence on the game in the history of the game. Gus.
And like he'd never admit it, and whether or not it's true or not, but it seems from at least from my perspective that he's just jimming up this Galvin thing the whole time, sort of leading people in a certain direction and baiting and
he's playing cards here,
Yeah.
and he's playing 3 weeks in advance.
100%, and
He's too smart.
and he gets his man.
Well, even
out
like
of
the
a
knock on
contract.
the door story, it's like he knows that knock on the door is coming. Just before game time. So he's building this whole thing up, and then he just
And he built that up for the 10 days.
10 days. And each day he'd have something different. And there was like a war movie on the bus and this sort of thing, and he spoke about, it's just incredible.
Yeah,
and he doesn't sleep.
Really? Well, I know
Back in the day,
he's tweeting his ass off. That's why.
When I was still living in Newey, we'd be coming home from Fanny's 3 or 4 in the morning, and we go, righto boys, let's play Gus Bingo. So everyone would throw 50 in. I'd say, I'll ring him. It's 3 in the morning. I'll go 2 rings. No, mate, he won't answer under 2 rings. I bet you he does. So I reckon 5. No, he won't even pick up. Ring Gus on loudspeaker. Brr, brr. Hello, mate. How are you? Yep, I'll take all that money.
He's just he's up.
He's just a genius.
He's a goer.
He's so good.
You kind of have to. The amount of things he sort of seems like he's doing, you got to.
Oh, he's got his fingerprints over everything. So good.
And just loves the game.
Loves it. And he knows what success looks like. He knows what players you need to get in. Like the way Stephen Crichton, he's like the perfect human. He got him in. Cameron Ciraldo, he knew what he was about. He just gets it done.
Have you had much to do with Stephen Crichton? Because I hear Gus talk about, he's obviously like a terrific player, but he always says about how much of a terrific human being he is.
He's such a lovely fella.
Only 24. It's crazy.
Just a perfect human.
Would you have him as captain after Isaiah?
No, Nathan.
Nathan, yeah.
I'd have been tempted to put Nathan in captain this year. But he's done it great. Isaiah Yeo, talk about no ego. He's totally changed the way he plays at Origin level. Because they're playing that Penrith style, where he's passing out the back, and it sort of doesn't really work that much at that level. He's just scrapped that. Now he's just running forward. He's an unbelievable player.
Where's he ranked? People sort of starting to talk about him as an all-timer in the position.
Well, in that position, you're Bradley Clyde. But he's getting up close to Bradley Clyde. Bradley Clyde was just incredible.
Yeah.
He'd be getting close.
Changing tact a little bit here, mate. What do you make of the Newcastle Knights situation at the moment. I mean, there's a bunch, I guess, with Newcastle, right? I don't know what you hear. Your voice carries so much weight in rugby league generally, but with the Knights, it's like you fart and things change over there.
It hurts. And the worrying thing, Kalen worries me, whether he's going to stay.
Yeah.
That's the worrying thing. Leo Thompson, probably our best forward at the moment. He's going to the Bulldogs. Gus is too good. Just our stability in the halves. We chop and change in the halves. And I don't see, there's a couple of local juniors, Fletcher Sharp, Fletcher Hunt, the two dirty mullets. They just look like out-and-out Coalfields boys. They're just dirty, absolute Cessnock and Warren. But I don't sort of see, well, I'm not involved, but, where's our halves coming through? Where's our dummy halves? We shouldn't have to import any halves or hookers into Newcastle or dummy halves.
It seems that you've always had a bit of a problem hanging on to talent, at least for the last 20 years. Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. When they started, so David Waite is a guy that pretty much coached all the juniors when I started. 89 was my first year. So when the Knights started in 88, they said, right, we haven't got the budget to buy, those days like a Manly or the Roosters to buy. We're going to build from within. So their goal was, in 10 years, we want 75% of our first grade team to be juniors. So what they did, they identified the really good kids and they just put so much coaching. I'm so, so lucky to get that coaching. I appreciate it so much. From the age of 14 to probably 18, 19. So all these juniors came through, and you go through them: Mark Sargent, Paul Harrigan, Adam Muir, myself and Matthew, Mark Hughes, all these sort of players. We're all local juniors. So when we won the comp in 97, 10 years in, 14 of the 17 were local juniors.
Wow.
So there's the model. Build from within.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, fans and coaches and administrators, they're not patient. You have to be patient.
So then, I guess with that Dylan Brown,
I know what you're going to ask. Yeah.
And I feel bad. You feel bad for Dylan because he's like as if you don't take that, but it just feels like it's almost like a distraction.
It's a
signing.
punt. It's a gamble.
Oh, it's a massive gamble. But it's also like we're doing stuff. We're in the market.
Dylan's a great young fella. I've coached him at Parramatta when I helped there. Great young fella. Tough, trains hard, but I don't know if he's a number 7. I don't know if he's an out-and-out number 7, but we'll see. But if you're going to punt on that, maybe do it for 3 years or 10.
Yeah.
And also for Dylan, mate, he's going up into the fishbowl. He's going up there. Everyone's watching and everyone wants – and it's all good. That people aren't putting shit on you, but you go down to Coles and you're getting – when you go from the veggies, every aisle someone's going, yeah, he's going to go this week. How's this? How you finding living up here? By the end, you're just like, get me in the house.
Yeah.
But it's all good. What I'm saying that the fishbowl, it's all positive, but it can wear you out.
Well, it'd be intense. I mean, I don't think any club in the comp with the lack of success that the Knights have had could turn out the crowds that the club does. Even when in the Spoon years, they were still getting big numbers.
Getting 25,000.
Yeah.
And they just love it. That year when they went on the run, I don't think it was last year, the year before, when they won 9.
Year before,
10.
they're in the grand final qualifier, or is it the prelim?
Might have been the semi.
They beat Canberra at home, I think. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And there was a try. Dom Young went down the sideline, and the whole grandstand at the Matthew Johnstown, not Matthew Johnstown, which they only sell mid-strength beer, which is a real problem for me. When he went down that sideline and the whole crowd was up, I've never seen scenes like that.
Yeah.
Since I've been a kid, going there watching when I was a kid to when I was playing, that was probably the best thing I've seen at that stadium.
That was incredible. What do you then make of the boos and your fans don't get rugby league and all
they're
that?
well educated, the Knights fans.
Yeah.
They know when they're having a crack. They weren't having a crack. They were shit against Manly. It was 16-0. It should have been 26 or 36. They were so far off
Very
the pace.
manly to let you back into the game, though.
And then they came out in the second half and they started to use the ball and given Dane Gagai early ball.
Didn't they switch him?
And I don't know. They grew a leg.
Yeah.
And then Manly started shitting themselves.
Mate.
And then they come home and you maybe need one of those wins like that to propel your season. Anyway, we'll see.
What do you make of O'Brien's comments, though, afterwards when he's
Yeah, they were disappointing.
Yeah.
And he knew, I reckon, as soon as it left his mouth, he was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
And he apologised. He was man enough to apologise, but, yeah, that was out of line.
Particularly because it seems to me like the booze got him the win.
Well, it's like it's, whipped him into shape a little bit.
There's nothing more demoralising coming off getting booed. I wouldn't know.
Seb, I want to shout out a good couple of mates of ours. You know them. I know them. We all know them. The greatest bookie of all time, Neds.
Yep. God, I love Neds.
They are just a great app that works seamlessly, that does a job, that does what I ask of it.
It does.
No fluff, just good stuff. And it allows me to have a punt every week, sometimes on the ponies, but mostly on rugby league. From a about even perspective, you are now breathing down my neck, metaphorically.
Yes.
It's good to have some competition.
And I'm hoping some people copied some bets and some profiles of the last maybe not last weekend, but the last month has been a very good month for Sebo.
You've had a great month. If you want to follow Sebo's bets, you're going to need to get Ned so you can go on his profile and you can just nick his bets.
Yeah.
If you nick his bets, you're going to be doing pretty well for yourself, especially over the last month. If you're nicking my bets, you're up.
Yeah. If you're nicking all of both yours and mine bets all year across every game of rugby league, you're nicking all of them, you're actually up.
You're up.
You're up.
Shout out to Neds.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website. You don't do many... Well,
None.
The thing we've always heard is like, Joey doesn't do podcasts,
I don't
Joey,
do
and it's just
podcasts.
never stopped us asking. We're like,
I've done one.
pull your mic. You just want to pull it a bit closer in here.
I've done one.
Howie.
Howie.
I saw you on Howie and I'm like, well, that's a podcast. What are we talking about?
And I got strife off 9.
Oh, really? Oh, so you're not allowed. Like, it's more of a...
Well, it's a bit of that. Because Willie Mace tries to get me on all the time.
Sorry, Willie.
Not doing them.
Sorry. Hello Sport exclusive.
Yeah.
And Howie, sort of. So you mates with Howie?
No, never met him.
You just got
He
you
seems
on.
a good fella.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Might have been through the King. Might have been through Warne.
Oh,
But before
really?
Warne, can't believe he's not with us.
Mate,
We were saying that last
night.
Me and him were going to do a podcast together.
Oh.
I flew down twice and we did like a rehearsal.
Oh, my God. Well, like,
Mate.
no one would listen to anything
I'm like,
else.
mate,
We'd be out of a job.
I'm just saying it as is. All my indiscretions are all over Google, so I don't give a I'm just saying what's happened.
Yeah.
So he was telling me some stories, mate. He was and still is the king.
Yeah.
Some of his stories. Because people misunderstand. He's not a pisshead at all. Everyone thinks he's partying. Never taken a drug in his life except for a diuretic. To make him look thinner. But mate, what a champion.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy. But that surprised me. I thought he'd be like a mad party animal. He hardly drank.
Yeah.
And so, like, how much of a relationship do you have with someone like Warne or like big dogs in other sports?
No, none really. The first time I met him, I faced him at the nets at the SCG during lunch. I was like, how good's this? And when I got there, I was so nervous facing the king.
Yeah.
And he actually hit me in the nuts with the ball. And I got a photo with a protector. I went, when you're out with Warne, you always got to wear protection.
That's good.
Yeah.
Didn't you play for New South Wales once?
Yeah.
In a one-day or something?
2020.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, the first ever 2020. So the first game was at Newey. They didn't know how I was going to go, so they needed a bit of publicity. So I played, but the night before, I had Danny Badiris' wedding.
Yeah, right.
When I say I had minimal sleep, it was like an extended blink. So I get to the ground and all the players, they could see I was hung.
Yeah.
So anyway, we bowl first and then we're batting second and I come in last and we need 6 to win or something. Simon Caddy's just down the other end and he goes, whatever you do, don't turn around. So I get up the end. Sean Tate's bowling.
Oh my
God.
So what do? I look around. Next, he's coming in like the Terminator, and mate, he's a big unit. coming in, and he lets this thing go. It's like a hurricane. And could not see the ball. And like Kaddish went to play it, and then it was in the hands of the wiki. I just called him down. I said, mate, you're even hitting 6s or 4s. I'm not facing this bloke. Not a chance in the world. But I sobered up like that. Once again, what am I doing? Terrifying.
Oh, well, he was. Was he called the Wild Thing?
Yeah, he was.
Because he had no control apparently either.
No, he
didn't
bowled
know
like
where it was
160,
going.
I think. I think he was like one of those guys that cracked 160.
That was terrifying.
Oh, my hungover as well after Danny's wedding.
Give me
that sounds
Warne
like
every
hell on
day.
earth.
Do you know what your Warne podcast was going to be called?
No.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
So,
missed out on
so when was this in the works potentially?
Oh, far out. I don't know. I mean, maybe sort of blends in. 4 or 5. I don't really know.
COVID's thrown me out of.
I think it was before
my sense
COVID,
of-
I think.
Yeah.
I went down to his house.
Oh, you did.
Pretty good house.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
You had a nightclub down there, didn't
No, he had a bar area with a big pool table.
Yeah.
And that's not jail talk.
you? Did you? With someone like Warne, and is there? If you haven't met each other much at all, if you walk into a room and there's another great of a sport in there,
Mate, it's
do you have like a
intimidating.
bit of a relationship with them already?
No, not really. Because he doesn't follow rugby league.
Do like you nod at each other and
But
shit?
no, when I was talking to him, I was just totally in awe.
Yeah.
And what struck me, you had one blue eye and one brown eye.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
what the term for that is. I'm looking at him going, I didn't know this about you, Warne. One blue
No.
eye, one brown eye.
I don't,
But he was
I
so
don't
cool.
know.
Mate, he was so down to earth.
Hey, you look
He's
at the
such a
book there.
legend.
But so just like aura as soon as
Just
you
an
know.
aura. Just, one of those blokes that just walks into a room and everyone's like, wow,
Yeah, there's
it's
Warne.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah. Well, when you had Mick Jagger speaking at his funeral,
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
I
The
think
UN
that-
did something.
the UN did something. Like Elton John was doing, like
It was
songs
on
from-
in the pub. Like I was at the pub and it was like everyone stopped. It was like a real. I mean, I was young. I remember Princess Di, but it was like
But it was one of the Princess
It felt-
Styles September 11.
yeah,
One of those moments where you knew where you were when you heard. And it's just one of those characters. You think they're going to live forever.
And truthfully, like we were watching the cricket last night, and it was just like they did this piece on him where, like, Nasser Hussain was like he's the greatest player of all time. Langer was like playing with him is the highlight of my career. Nothing I did.
So before Origin 1, I went for a walk around the Fortitude Valley. So I ran into one of our producers. He goes, what are you doing? Come, we'll have breakfast. So I went in and had breakfast with Ian Hurley.
Oh yeah.
So talking with Heels, and I was asking him about Warne, and he was just, mate, he was talking about how he spun the ball, where leg spinners normally do it out the back, but he would do it a certain way,
Like out the front almost.
out the front or something. And he was talking about when he was keeping to him, and he just said the ball would just be zzz through the air.
Zinging.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate. It's just, when he was telling the story, I was just in total awe.
Have you seen the doco? There was a doco on him, I think before he passed, maybe. I don't know, because I think he speaks in it. But when he was young, he broke like both his legs.
On the skating.
So he was crawling around, and like you
Mate,
look at his fingers.
He had Chico roll
Was it in
fingers.
his- I think it was in his book,
maybe,
potentially.
maybe.
But what Hurls did say, he said one hand, his non-bowling hand was all soft. That's mate, probably doing the good work. But this hand was like sandpaper. He said you must have just had such a grip on it.
Yeah. Just
Well, he wouldn't have been able to use that in.
No, you don't. Certain occasions, special occasions.
Special occasion.
Yeah.
But isn't that wild that he would just he'd
Crawling
just, he'd be
around.
crawling around, dragging himself around the house?
But you look at his hands and you're like, well, that's almost, what you need. You need these big, thick bastards because no one's spinning it like that anymore.
Mate, the other one who I bump into now in the East all the time is Greg Matthews.
Mo.
Oh, now there's a bloke you should get on.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I've heard about Mo from the old man, like just from back in the day. But
Mate, he's out there with the Pixies.
Is
He's
he?
so good.
Yeah, right.
He's so.
We'll have to have it. We might
We'll
try
have
to
a
get
look
Mo
at
He's
on.
been trying to get me to go to his local pub on a Saturday to have a beer and a bet,
Yeah.
and I've had stuff on.
Jeez, that
and
didn't
I'm
seem like
just-
that'd be that hard to get you down.
Yeah, I know. It'd just be hilarious. It'd be so good.
How close did our old mates at the ARU get to?
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, like close.
Someone was saying, I was reading this the other day, because obviously they're talking about Nathan at the moment going.
Yeah.
But that, like, at one point, it may have even been on the Great Cricketer podcast or the Circus, but they were saying, like, that when the rumours were around that you were potentially going to go to rugby, that even on, like, the Sunday footy show or something, you started talking about how you'd play.
Yeah.
Like, you were actually almost like, if I went, this is how I'd do it.
I met with Eddie
Jones,
Jones.
the trader.
And we're at John Fordham, the late, great John Fordham's house. And we're talking just union. I mean, back then, I watched a heap of union.
Yeah.
I could know every Wallaby.
Yeah.
You go through the whole team,
Yeah.
right from Matt Burke to our great mate Matt Dunning. Yeah. And I was talking about, the Carlos Spencer and Dan Carter and how they play and how I'd play. Mate, by the end, Eddie gets that eyebrow. It was up here. Yeah. He was quite excited, if you know what I mean. I left Fordo's place that night in Wallara and drive home. And when I left, I said, mate, you get the deal, and I reckon I'm signing.
Jeez. And so what was the...
They pulled it.
They pulled it. Such a
I had a
rugby
knee
move.
recar. I was coming back from a knee recar. And there was rumours of other reasons. Maybe off-field behaviour.
The old off-field behaviour. Yeah. I mean, surely you could turn a blind eye to these
But you know what?
things.
I think about what would have happened. And I would have been under that much pressure. I wouldn't have failed. I would have put that much work into it.
Yeah, right.
What
Do you,
year
so
is
would
this?
you have? Do you wish you did it?
No.
What year was this?
This was 2004.
Okay.
So I came back. Well, I wouldn't have done that
No,
origin.
right. We wouldn't have had 05.
Yeah, we wouldn't
Sliding
have
doors
Yeah.
moment.
How do you? Can you?
That jersey, that's the only New South Wales jersey I've got at home.
The Wizard, is that Wizard Home Loans one?
It's a Wizard one with PlayStation here.
Yes.
Yeah,
The Game 2 one.
yeah.
And a mate of mine,
That'd be worth a buy.
mate of mine, like you boys would like my mate Tom Walker. He's a young bloke, Jesse. Rung me a couple of years ago. He said, mate, can I wear that jersey Origin night? I said, yes, no problem. I didn't know he was going to the Bondi Hotel. Comes back, bourbon stains all over it. No. I'm like, mate, you serious?
Jesus.
There's still blood stains on it and stuff.
Wow.
Fair
Yeah.
income.
I mean,
Oh
you
my
should have known better than to let him out. Like, what are we doing
What are you
there? That
doing?
should be behind glass.
But also, imagine wearing that
Oh,
thing down the bottom.
yeah.
I'm like,
That's a
Yeah,
flex.
surely you
oh,
go well.
mate. Well, can I call you and ask to wear it or?
Yeah. Are you much of a memorabilia guy? Like,
Nah.
do you don't hold on to it?
None. Someone asked me the other day, where's your Dally M's? And I haven't got a clue. They'd be
Really?
somewhere. They'd be somewhere at
They'd
home.
be in, yeah, right. No, you don't want to have them in like a big room, a big
I saw,
Joey room.
I saw my golden boot. Well, I got two of them. And one of them's half broken. I don't know how it's been broken.
Are they made of gold?
But we, yeah, not proper gold,
It's
fool's
not
gold.
solid, yeah.
Fool's
Because
gold.
we used to get at Newey, when we come back to my place, to the bar, we'd fill it up and the boys would be sculling out of it. Oh, it was glorious. Those days were the best.
There was I think Cooper, your nephew Cooper, shared something funny to Instagram the other day. I don't know if it was maybe on your birthday or something. Was your birthday recently?
Yeah.
And he put
Yeah.
up something-
birthday
I'm just going
post,
to try
yeah.
and find it real quick.
Is that when I was saying to him,
You've got
stop
like,
playing pretty,
Yeah,
get on
you're
your
giving him
outside
advice?
leg?
what's it like? Are you comfortable giving out advice to those boys back when they were playing? Like, what was
Yeah,
that?
bits and pieces. But Cooper's a larrikin, he can take a joke.
Yes. Here we go. Get on your outside legs. Stop playing pretty. Should learn how to play off both. You just come back 3 Dally M's, 2 golden boots, 8 People's Choice, 8 The Mortal. Checkmate.
Oh, yeah, got him. Yeah.
He's good. He's funny, Cooper. They're both, I mean,
Well, talking to the AAU, getting
yeah.
back to that,
yeah.
Isaiah Katoa, he was playing in the GPS rugby. He played in...
Do you go to Newington?
No,
in Sydney?
the one near Hornsby.
Barker?
Barker College.
Was he?
He went there.
Yes. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't
played
they go
10.
after him?
Oh, well.
See,
mate,
part
he
of
was
me-
there.
Part of me likes, like, because to your point, back in the day, you knew every rugby union player. You knew every Wallaby, right?
So they used to have, remember the Super 12 started?
Yep.
And that used to be on at 5:30 on a Friday night. And those days, there was not, in league, there was no 2 games on Friday night. So religiously, Jonah, Carlos Spencer, all them, Larkham, Gregan,
Howlett.
Matt Burke, all them. It was so good to watch.
Nobody eels.
Oh, yeah. Johnny. Was he
Johnny.
still around?
Yeah,
Mate,
he
it was
there.
great. It was good. But so
And
like
it was great footy before the referees and the officiating went over the top.
Yeah.
It was really
Set
good
piece.
to watch.
Do you remember what you were saying to Eddie that night when his eyebrow was on the top of his head?
I was just talking about, different shapes and kicks and, manipulating defences and, stuff like that, and talk about the great players I like watching and picking the best bits out of Carlos Spence from Steve Larkham and Just van der Westhuizen and those sort of, I used to love watching Just play, the South African player, halfback. Yeah, and so,
And you think it would have been fine for you?
yeah. Mate, I would have been under that much pressure and I know that there would have been people wanting me to fail from both sides, league and union.
So you think like you thrive under the pressure then, or at least when you're playing, like that was something that made you go.
Once again, Gus. When I remember the origin when Gus has given me the serve, it's all over.
I remember. I can see the image. I don't know
Yeah.
when it was.
So he gave me a spray in front of the whole team. This is a camp, a month before Origin, and he's giving me a spray and showing stuff on the field and being a bit lazy and all this. I was fuming. So anyway, we go down and then we have this conversation and he's like, get your life in order. Look at you. You're not fit, blah, blah, blah. Go away, work on your game, pull your head in, which no one really says when you're at the top of the tree.
Yeah.
So I went back to Newey and I was fuming. But for the next month, 6 weeks, I trained that hard and I got rock hard fit and came into Origin. What have been at 03 or 02, one of those. And we smoked them. And then at the end of the series, he goes, that was all planned.
God.
Really?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, he's too good.
Yeah.
Mate, he's too good.
How do you
ask
think
you
Nathan? How do you think Nathan'd go in Union?
Yeah, he'd kill it.
Yeah.
He'd kill it.
Kill it.
Yeah. Skill set, he's kicking. He's big body, Nathan.
Mate, he was
He
in
came
here.
in here to speak with Mitchy Pearce and
Pearce.
Todd Carney. We were shocked at how big he is.
He's big.
Yeah.
And you know what? This year, now he's carrying that team a bit. He's playing physical. He's playing tough. Belton blows.
Yeah.
He would have destroyed it.
Do you
He would
reckon?
have been the best 10 in the world.
And you reckon there's any chance he'll go? Or is it like he's too sort of...
If he's going to go anywhere, he'll go to the Super League.
Do you think that's realistic? Obviously, love is powerful.
Love is powerful. He'll pump those guys, though.
Love will tear us apart again. Who's saying that?
Oh, he did. I was thinking never tear us apart.
And you know what? He loved being over there. He lived in Manchester with Mary. Mate, no one to know who he is in Manchester. He'd be anonymous. Play for Warrington or Wigan, which is 20 minutes down the road.
Win 7 Man of Steels.
He can always go a few years and then come back. I think it'd be a great move for him.
You
know
played
what?
a bit over there, didn't you, for Warrington?
I played for Warrington, played 3 games. It was unbelievable experience. The footy's so open and fast, and the people north of England they're great people. Like, it is the most grim place to live, the north of England, especially during winter.
Yeah.
We were on a tour there one year. I remember being jet lagged and coming down, saying to the concierge, mate, when's the sun come up? He goes, about 3 months. And it just pissed down for 2 months we're there.
Yeah, right.
And it was awful. But getting back to Nathan, mate, the footy's so good. And he'd love it over there. And he'd kill it, and it'd be so good for the game.
How'd you only get 3 games over there?
Because I was still in contract with Newcastle. It was 2005.
Was it the end of the year?
2005, we got the wooden spoon. And,
Did you get the Dally M as well?
no, JT just...
Oh, yeah, he pipped you.
He played 30 games and I played 15. Anyway, we had a test matches at the end of the year in October. So during that 6-week period, I wouldn't have been playing. So the late, great John Fordham and a bloke called Simon Moran, who owns Warrington, they did the deal.
And so you just wanted to go over there just to experience it?
No, I always wanted to play in England, and this was my opportunity. But I was when my contract ended at Newcastle in 2007, I was going to go over and finish in 08 and play one more year. But I buggered my neck. It was a great experience. The footy there is so good.
Do you think it's realistic for Nathan to go? Like, it just doesn't seem like the done thing for someone at the top of their career, at the peak of their powers.
26,
27, I think.
Maybe a couple of years, 2-3 years.
Is he
He's
the-
done everything.
He's done
here.
everything, yeah.
Yeah. Is he the best you've seen?
Halfback.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gone past JT yet, Jonathan Thurston.
Or yourself.
I'm not saying that.
We are.
Yeah, no, that's
Hey,
what I'm
Ricky
saying.
Stewart now, you know, when I got to play against them, they were on a whole nother level. But,
It's a bit of work to be done.
mate, we
He's
know
great.
we know where he's going to finish up. Hopefully, there's no injuries, but you know he's going to be with the truly elite.
You taking your good day, mate?
Oh, I'm taking it. I took 2 today, actually.
Good man.
Because, I've got... when I first got on them, because I didn't have the proper subscription, I was like, get a little bit here, then you'd run out. You couldn't build the routine of it.
You got to build a routine.
Once you build the routine, then it gets in there. And it definitely... it's one of those things where you can't like pinpoint, is it working, is it not? It's like, but no, you can if I crave it. It's like it's almost sets me up for the day, even though you don't feel immediate effects in the sense of, hey, I'm drinking this and it's taking me to superhero mode, but I have it after my morning coffee and it just sets me up for, okay, now do your next task, now you do your next thing, now do your next thing. It's built in a routine, which is the easiest routine. Some people go stretch for 10 minutes in the morning. Okay, fuck, that's easy to find time when you got a kid. Yeah, sure.
No, this is easy. This is a sachet in water. You build routine. You build a foundation for the day. You've got energy that will last the day. You will sleep better. This is in our experience, punters and dribblers. Don't believe us. Head to begoodhealth.com.au. There is a lot of reviews. 5 stars, 1,200 or more of them. Read what they have to say. Proofs in the pudding. Code DRIBBLERS for 10% off. Pair it with a subscription for 20% off. Make it sounds good.
Do you reckon a fully fit Tommy Turbo when he was ripping is like one of the best, like the best
Ever.
play you've ever seen?
One of the best ever,
like-
for sure. That year, you know, he lit it up.
2021 or
No one
whatever
could stop
it was.
him. It was like watching under 8s.
21 of them.
Whenever he won the...
He won the Dally M that year.
From like 14 games as well.
There was just no one could stop him. It's just a shame he's broken. And you know what else is a shame? He never played fullback for New South Wales. Like fully fit with him firing. Imagine him and Latrell on the left side, and him and Nathan and him and Cookie around the ruck. Like in those origins when Freddy coached, he'd let Turbo roam. And in Perth, you remember he went to the left side and him and Latrell sort of sparked it up.
Yeah. Well, you said something the other day, which we're huge Manly fans, Joey, and it broke my heart. But you reckon him and Jake will retire in 2027. Is that just vibe? Are you hearing that? Or he's still only 27 himself.
Turbo's body just keeps breaking down.
I know.
And he wouldn't play for another club. And, you know, when the DCE circus went on, Jakey was quite open about that. And I can never play for another club. He's another one you just want to put him in cotton wool and cuddle him and take him home.
Yeah,
Change
I know.
with it. But I reckon they'll finish up. in 27.
See, there's just there's no way back for Tommy with these injuries.
Oh, he just keeps getting busted. And, you know, you boys know, Turbo's super intelligent.
Yeah,
Like super, super intelligent. And Jakey's coming to the end. You can see Jake's coming to the end. So what are we into? Yeah, another 2 years, I reckon.
What do you make of Manly, the side, generally?
Don't know. Enigmas. They can look good 1 week and then legless the next.
Yeah.
What is that, do you reckon?
Don't know.
Yeah. Well, mate, it just does our head in. Like, we've been, you know, when you watch Manly every week, you start to recognise certain things. Like, we weren't positive, but I was like, I reckon Newcastle could beat us. And
we knew
last
Newcastle
week,
was going to beat us.
Even though we dominated Brisbane the week before.
It's the game we
just the
lose.
way
I didn't
it
even
goes.
tip Newcastle.
Oh, mate. Well, listen, I tip Manly because I refuse not to. But, like, when you watch when you're a Manly fan and you've watched as many Manly games, you're just like, this is exactly.
But they're missing
and
front
particularly
rowers.
this year.
Paseka's, Aloiai is going to retire. Paseka hasn't been. There's some excuses.
Yes.
But they're just. And Turbo's injuries.
Turbo's, he's back this week. And what about Lehigh? Lehigh has started ripping, but I've felt like this year, when Turbo first went down and he was playing fullback, he didn't seem like he had he obviously didn't have what Turbo offered in attack, but it felt like he sort of didn't go as well. But when he's on the wing, he seems to just rip. Is there anything about, like, with a young guy coming in that you're better off?
Lehigh looks like that. And he's so strong. He gets through tackles.
He's fourth on post-contact meters for the
Is
season.
he? Mate, if Hopper was a racehorse, my gosh.
Oh, I know. We said
he's got.
we want to bottle his loads.
He's got a bit of long row about him, old Hopper.
Yeah.
That's a niche horse reference, but he does.
Hopper. I played against Hopper when I was 14 the first time.
14.
Yeah. And he was bigger than he is now. I roomed with Hopper
Did ya?
in Origin 1 year. And Hopper's Hopper, I don't think he's had a drink for 25 years, maybe more.
Really?
But, mate, when he was on the drink, he was the biggest menace. And the rules back then were, because blokes smoked darts back in the day, if you're going to smoke darts, you go outside in the veranda. Hopper would be on the bed just smoking darts. I'm like, Hopper, come on, mate, you know the rules. Shut up. And you just go over to my bag, open it, just blow cigarette smoke in my bags. I would smell like an old reptile down at the RSL club. All my clothes were just full of cigarette smoke.
Not just anyone's.
I go, mate, what are you doing? You go, cool. Okay. Go for your life, Hopper. Oh, but he was on one tour when he was on the drink. He refused to sleep in his bed, and he'd be out all night. So we'd go to train, he'd come to train, and we'd come home. And each day at lunchtime, he'd go from different rooms on different days and sleep in people's rooms, in their beds. You'd come back. Hopper, hop out. Shut up. I'll bash you. Okay, I'll tuck you in.
What do you mean he'd refuse to sleep in his
He
bed?
just wouldn't sleep in his own bed. He just used to tic-tac on different people's rooms and different beds. Oh, he was the best. He was the best.
Oh, that's insane, behaviour.
Imagine coming home from training, you're absolutely pooped and Hopper's in your
Hopper's
bed.
in your bed's like that. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, he was funny.
far
He was
out.
so funny.
He's got one of the great driving records of
Yeah.
all time as well.
You always hear these yarns about old Tommy Raudonikis' camps. You just go to the pub straight away. You wouldn't do anything else. Is that the makeup of it?
I do a couple of talks at pubs, those sort of things. And Tommy, I've got about 3 or 4 Tommy stories, and every time people are just going, that can't be true. I can't tell them.
Yeah, no, you needed the phones anyway. You can't be doing it.
But the cattle dog was a funny one when the brawl with me and
Yes.
Tommy got out.
Yeah.
So the thing was, anyone said Queensland was going to be on the cattle dog. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, we get in the game. Everyone forgets it. And we got a scrum on the halfway at the old Sydney football stadium. So the bench is there, and Tommy's yelling out, cattle dog is the thing. And then Spud and Chief go, cattle dog. Steve Menzies is behind us going, no cattle dog. No. We're like, Beaver. He's like, no, cattle dog. So anyway, Spud packs in and just kings someone, knocks him out. So me and Jimmy Goddard go at it, and then we all know what happened. He punched my head in. So knocked me cold. I go up. I'm in the dressing room, and I'm on the bench, and anyway, Dr. Nathan Gibbs is about to stitch me up. I said, mate, what's happened? He said, it was a brawl. I said, oh, how'd I go? He goes, go have a look in the mirror. So I went over, and I had cut from my lip to my nose. So you put 27 stitches in it. And once again, we didn't know about concussions back then. So I just fall asleep on the rubbing bench. Next thing I smell this cheese and onion chips, Reshes, Winnie Reds just in my face. I look up, Tommy's, you let me down, you weak prick. Get back out there. I couldn't talk. Come over to Vaseline, he goes, whack it on, get back out there. But that was Tommy.
How'd you go in the rest of the game?
Yeah, we won.
Oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
there
Of course we won.
Of course you won, mate.
And then we go to the judiciary, and we're watching on the screen.
Can you
And we kept watching it. Me and Jimmy Goddard next to each other. And I'm saying to the boy, do we really need to see this again? And then I got suspended for a week, and Jimmy Goddard got off. And we were pissing ourselves. I think we actually had a beer after the judiciary down the pub.
Did you ever run into him?
I ran into him, I think he's on the Central Coast. Real estate or something?
Yeah, right.
Great fella. Anyway.
He'd be dining out on that, Jimmy.
Oh, wouldn't he?
Wouldn't he? Mate, absolutely you would.
But the thing is, in the judiciary, they had different angles, different camera angles. And I actually won round 1 and round 2. If you watch it, I actually get a sneaky one on
really?
him, and he drops a bit, and I pick him up.
No one shows that footage.
But round 3 and 4, holy shit. TKR,
Yeah.
2KR.
Gotcha. We got some presents for you, mate. We got some gifts, if that's all right.
What sort of gifts?
Well, listen, nothing too crazy. Where
Just some gifts.
just a couple of gifts because we do. You've rocked the Newcastle 13 plus.
Yeah, my missus she's grabbed
She's
that.
got that. Well, mate, if you need another one, you let us know.
I'd love another.
Have you got a New South Wales one? Do we give it? Well, we've got your New South Wales bomber.
Oh, sick.
Look at that. That's
How
nice.
good's that?
That's
Have we got a New South Wales 13 plus out the back?
We'll go have a
You
look.
give a large.
So this
large
is your stuff. How
Yeah.
good's that?
And
Thanks,
then
boys.
this is our new Hello Sport jacket, which is
Oh, mate. If this isn't worn at an early open a pub at 10 in the morning,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look at
what
that,
could be worn.
mate. It's
Corduroy.
yeah.
Yeah, black cord, mate. The black bomber. Hello,
Well,
Sport.
I got the Cessnock tuxedo one at the moment. Damn. Sick.
Now we're not done yet either. This is something you wouldn't be as aware of, I assume, given you're not in the podcast world. Second podcast officially. In our world, we've got the baggy green, which you can see over there, which is given out to only a very specific few people who do exemplary stuff. Now, some of it is literally like our audience. So, like, someone bought us that sign there. One time we asked for Ned Kelly helmets just because, and some guy made them.
Yeah,
Just drop
you
them
got to
off.
have a set of Ned
You
Kelly
could even
ones.
check that thing behind you. There's the last supper of.
saw that.
Someone drew that. You're at the front.
I saw that.
Peter Volandis has got one. If you see him whenever he's doing interviews from his office, he's got it hanging on his
Has
back
he?
door.
Yeah.
What a
So
legend.
the baggy green is like the most prized possession in our world.
And we'd like to
You
extend
know, you know
one.
what, boys? I'm going to do something special for you, boys. If you're going to give it to me, I'm going to Perth on Monday. And who else would you like to wear that? The big horse from the West?
Oh, yeah. The king of the West meets the king of the East.
I'm meeting up with him for lunch.
Yeah.
Although he's sober now, cuzzy.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I'll get a photo.
Yeah,
Me and
perfect.
Cuz.
Well, that's for
But that's for you,
services
mate.
to the state.
Services to
mate.
the
Thank
state, rugby league, dribble and yarn, and our life generally.
Thank you.
Thank you for 2005.
Just
Getting
get
us
out
through
of
the
jail
dark years.
free card.
Yeah, it
Just
is.
got
Oh,
one-
shit, yeah.
Has they got one
It
of them?
is. Snorting, growling, howling, prowling.
You're going to be lucky you
Thanks,
drove
mate.
because there's a bunch of shit we're giving
And
you.
you're going to
mate.
like that. That says New South Wales 13 plus.
I'm
on
going
it.
to I'll take this over to Perth.
You wear it around camp, mate.
Actually, I'll give this to the big horse too. Just seeing the sheds after game 3 last year, he came in the sheds.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Mate, you reckon the boys are frothing on it?
That would have been
They're
loving
good,
it.
these are really good.
Yeah.
Mate, good. We're glad you like them. Now, one other. We're interested to know, and this is a bit random, but like, you're obviously a healthy man. You're out surfing.
Yeah.
We pulled you in from the waves today. Apologies for that.
Yeah.
But do you take much, do you focus much on your health generally? Like vitamins,
No.
nutrition, any of that sort of shit?
No.
Well, you're in luck, mate.
Mate, are we talking about real vitamins?
Yes.
Or are you taking
We're
No,
talking
no,
about-
no,
we're
no,
talking
no,
about-
no,
we're
no,
talking
no,
about- we're talking-
I was going to say.
We're talking about a multivitamin.
We're talking about
Oh,
multivitamins, electrolytes, things of that
Okay.
nature.
Yeah,
Because
More gifts.
more gifts, mate. We started a company that focuses on, it's a multivitamin,
Good day.
good day, and then we've also got daylights, daily electrolytes.
So when you're coming from the surf and you're fucking thirsty, whip one of them into the water, you're laughing.
you wake up in the morning before you go out, you have a good day, sachet into water.
Now, if I'm going to London the end of the year, if I take these, I won't end up in handcuffs.
No,
Mate,
you
I
won't.
just took him to
Mate.
Bali, so
Okay.
if you
We
can get
wouldn't
him
do
in
that.
there,
We wouldn't do that to you.
we wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, that's what the last bloke said over there.
There you go. Nice and easy, mate.
Sachet into water, slam
Perfect.
it down.
Perfect.
Chappelle Corby's name on it? No.
No.
My dad wanted me to take a boogie board bag that looked like a saddie, and he was like, "I'm just smuggling boogie boards." I was like, "I'm like, Dad, I just don't need to risk that."
Your dad's a 12th man.
Yeah.
I was telling someone out in the surf I was coming on, mate, and we're talking about your dad's a genius.
Mate, he's good, isn't he?
Absolutely, Joe. We're going through some of the things. Jerry, see you. I see
I
you
see
too,
Jerry.
Did he get much pushback from the Pacific boys?
Back then, it was. I mean, like now, no. Basically, the answer is no.
Yeah.
They all loved it. Like
They'd all
he'd
love
go
it.
to New Zealand, and they'd all be, they'd all like be obsessed. Or like any of the, like I think it was like maybe like Imran Khan or some one of these the Southeast Asian cricketers, like with all their names.
The Pakistani
Pakistani
boys.
boys.
Yeah, they loved
Yeah,
it.
it might even be Pakistan, but like one of them was being interviewed and was like, we'd just all whack it on. He'd be
Can you
taking off
remember
all
him
our
writing
names.
it when you were a kid?
I remember, and Will would as well, is just he'd come in and like he'd have a new Kiwi name, or he'd have a new, and so like you'd hear like little bits of it, like he'd be like, oh, I got one, or But I remember him actually sitting down to write it. He'd write it all by hand, like he wouldn't.
Doesn't he still send you them?
We were talking to him the other day, and he was saying how like when he'd be promoting like an album or something, he'd go do radio interviews and that. And he's like, if you're a musician or a band, you just play like a bit of the song you've already made. But he wouldn't go on and like play a clip of the album coming out. He'd basically have to write like a skit, like a new piece of content every time he was going on and doing something. And he's like, I just kept the scripts for all of them. And he's like, I was just going through my shit the other day, and he's like, I just found this treasure trove of names and stuff that I just completely forgot I made. So I don't know if he's going to do anything with them. But
so clever. So
yeah, it's good. He's still got them. He just doesn't do it anymore. So
we were at the surf moon, a couple of blokes were pissing ourselves off. Some of them. And everyone's recall. Everyone's got a different one.
Yeah.
So
no, it's good. He might try and there might be something in the works he's trying to, not like a new album or anything. I don't want to. He'd kick my ass. But just I think trying to get everything together. He's sort of. I think that's why he was going through his shit anyway.
Has he been on this podcast?
Yeah, he's come on a couple of times.
Has he?
Yeah. Comes on in yarns, and then he's like, "Mate, I'm giving away all my material." I'm like, "Well, do something then."
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the only place he gets a bit of life, mate, a bit of air.
But no, it's good.
So who do you like this weekend in the footy?
Well, mate, I always find the buy-round footy is pretty tough going. It always seems to be like all the underdogs won in the first buy-round we had.
So who we got?
Manly's playing the Titans. I'll be honest with you, a little bit scared. I know I shouldn't be, but
No, DCE.
They're all in. Hamole.
yeah,
Mole.
surely.
But again,
And no
Manly does
Tino,
it.
no Mo.
Oh, that's a good point.
The other one's the Dolphins. My man Katoa.
Surely
Up
they
against the Cows.
do a job on the Cows with all those outs.
Sharks, Dragons. You would assume Sharks.
Well, I don't know about that one.
Well, what's going on there?
They got pumped the last 2 weeks.
What do you think that is? We've been joking because
Dragons just got pumped as well, though. In fairness,
Yeah, they got my man Katoa. He put a clinic on.
It's Shane Flanagan up against his old side. I don't know.
Is Kyle still been picked? Is he like?
I don't know. I haven't seen the teams.
What do you think that is about with the Sharkies?
Don't know.
Just lacking a bit of mongrel or
Don't know. Well, they got Fanil
Belief.
Blake. There's no more mongrel than him.
Great point.
as in they've got mongrel. It's just like a side as a collective.
Well, they got no Origin players either. They're nearly
Exactly.
full strength. You get Ronaldo back. He's back. He'll help out. I think they win. I don't think it'll be as easy what people think.
Are Warriors the real deal this year?
Yeah, for sure. And some of them young players, Helasima, is that his name?
Alisema.
Far out.
Yeah.
They look good.
I've been calling
Metcalf good.
I've been calling them a false economy all year, and it's been getting the Warriors fans pissed off. Listen, this is
they're
official
the real
now.
deal.
They're the real
Luke
deal.
Metcalf, he's a gun.
Yeah.
He'll be pushing them all a couple of years for Origin. So
Well-
we've got all these young blokes coming through, the young halves. Galvin and Katoa and Metcalf. I'm probably missing a couple anyway. So when Nathan and Moses and those blokes in 3 or 4 years, them boys are going to be.
So
24,
Katoa, a
25.
Penrith boy, did you say?
He's a Penrith.
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, that's why he had to leave Penrith because of Nathan. So he went to the Dolphins, eh?
Yeah. That's powerful stuff.
Well, let's just quickly touch on Origin. We do. Firstly, thank you for coming in. Like
Pleasure.
you've been on our hit list since we started doing this thing, and
You've always been at the top,
When
mate.
we heard you didn't do podcasts, we were like, "Well, this is a spanner in the works."
Well, Mace won't be happy.
No,
Willie won't be happy.
no.
Anyway,
Sorry, Willie.
Sorry,
But
mate.
it's like shit, Willie.
we appreciate it greatly.
He's big.
Oh, mate, he's huge.
He
and
comes
still
down.
in
He
good
comes
nick.
down to have a coffee.
Yeah.
And mate, I sit down looking at him and think, how did I actually tackle you?
When we gave him one of those jerseys, the jumpers a couple of years ago, it was like we had to give him like the biggest possible one we had.
People
and he
don't
just
believe
filled it
this.
out.
I was out in the drink one night in Newcastle, and his brother Les came up,
Oh yeah.
and Les had this shirt on, and I said, "Give us a look at that shirt." I think it was real. I might have been in a different state, but I'm sure it said 7XL. That's how big it is.
Jeez. Well, Les was bigger than Willie, wasn't he?
Les is massive.
Yeah.
We were up there for a wedding, and my missus, we sit in the cafe. She goes, "Oh my God, it looks like a bigger version of Willie Mason." So I knew it was Les. "Hey Les, how are you?" Come over for a chat, and his little boy was there. And my missus Kate goes, "Oh, he's so cute. You in kindy?" Les goes, "He's 18 months." He was like that big. Yeah, so sorry, Willie.
Sorry, Willie. Mate, thanks for coming on. Just a quick one for Origin. How do you think the game goes?
Oh, I think we win.
Prediction,
I think we
score?
win well. Well, I reckon between both teams there'll be 40-odd points scored. So I think New South Wales, 30-10 or 30-12, something like that. I think we've got 5 or 6 tries in us.
Big old humping.
And if they can kick goals, maybe the balls will be okay.
Well, mate, listen.
You might need to start vetting them before the game.
Yes. Me and the Steedens having a roll around. That'd be nice.
Maybe they should send them to your hotel room before, and you just get
Well, he breaks them in.
You break them all in.
You break them all in, mate.
I could go somewhere with that, but I won't.
And then you sign them. Go, that's been
that's
like
been
checking fighters' gloves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's been
It's quality control. Don't need to break this one in.
And the players get out there.
What's going
On
on?
this ball.
Punters and dribblers, a reminder, when you're watching your Origin football, the only place to do it, live, free and exclusive, is on Channel 9 and 9 Now, baby.
Which, I mean, like, if you are watching it some other way, then...
Well, it's not real.
Well, it's not real. You might have a rat-tat-tat on your door from the fuzz.
Yeah.
Because the only place you can watch it is on 9 and on 9 Now, live and exclusive.
And free.
And free. Mate, thank you very much.
Cheers,
Good on you,
boys.
mate.
Pleasure.
Thank you
All the
very much.
best. Cheers.
Could you two just not talk anymore?